A sharp pain, an acute pain, is something that it's your body signal that something's wrong. And just like the light on your dashboard, you can address and put oil in your engine, or you can put a little piece of tape over the light and ignore it. And that's where you start to get into an issue, right? And that's what's a lot of the problems with these painkillers, right? Is that all they're doing is putting a piece of tape over the light, right? And what happens when you put a piece of tape over the light and you keep driving your car? You're going to get a big problem, right? If you don't pay attention to the first pain signals and you just cover them up, the big problem's on its way, right? If you find them early, and that's where we talk about the prevention idea. If you catch these pain signals early, we're all going to have pain. It's going to happen. And sometimes it's, you get up from a chair and you're like, ooh, my knee. And then it goes away and it's fine. And you're like, okay, it's just a little tweak. Something was out of place. But if every time you get up from the chair, your knee starts doing that, you go, okay, there's a problem. And my solution is not, let's take a pill so it doesn't hurt anymore. The solution is, let's see what's wrong with the knee and why it's telling me that there's something wrong. Health is a journey, right? Health absolutely is a journey. And just because you're healthy now doesn't mean you're going to stay healthy. And just because you're not healthy now doesn't mean you're going to stay unhealthy. It's a constant process of moving. It's a scale, right? You're moving up and it's which direction are you going? Are you getting healthier or are you getting less healthy? And it's about good decision making, right? And good decision making is a lot about having good information, right? It's hard to make a good decision if you don't have good information, right? So a lot of being healthy is actually being informed, because if you don't know it's bad for you, right? And even that information, it's relative. It's only to what we know right now, right? In dentistry, that at one point, getting your mercury fillings was a good idea, right? It was like, oh, you've got this cavity, we want to save your tooth. We're going to put this mercury in there and stop the cavity from expanding, and we're going to save this tooth. And so it was a good idea. Now our information has changed, and maybe it's not such a good idea anymore, right? What seems like a good idea now may not be a good idea in the future, too. So it's not only about making good decisions, it's about staying informed. And things like the videos that you're making here are about that. And that's such a great idea. And I thank you guys for doing this, because it is about keeping people informed. It's like letting them know what is out there. Maybe they've never heard of neurosomatic therapy. Maybe they don't understand that structure and dental occlusion are even related. Doing these sorts of things and getting that information out there allows people to make good decisions, which then keeps them in that process of staying healthy or getting healthier each day. Health is about keeping your body in such a state that it can adapt to its environment in some way. Being able to adapt, because you're not going to avoid stressors, right? Your body's going to have stressors. You're going to have to pick up something awkwardly. You're going to you're going to have a bad day at work. Right? You're going to sometimes be at a place that you can't get the absolute best food, right? Your body is going to be exposed to stressors. Getting it in such a state that it can take those stressors and adapt to them without a whole lot of compensation, without a whole lot of dysfunction with that, is where it is. And if you're constantly making bad decisions, if you're always eating bad food, if you're always doing stress, if you're never exercising, your body gets to a point where it can't adapt anymore. And then even the little things cause you to break down. So it's a constant process. Oftentimes, people will come in with their back pain, and we'll get their back pain better by restoring some structure, getting some pressure off of their back. And they'll go, I haven't had to take a Prilosec in weeks. And I've been on Prilosec for 6 years, right? And they'll go, what happened? And I have to explain to them that it was the pressure on their stomach that was creating this issue, and that pressure on their stomach is part of the problem of their back. It's all related, right? Anytime you try to separate one part of the body from another, it's foolish. It's all related. We talked about the guy with the collapsing diaphragmatic posture. We say he's constipated, but what you don't understand is that constipation and that posture also means he's not absorbing as many nutrients as he should. You could be eating the best food in the world, but if you don't absorb it, what good is it, right? So restoring that, and then what are you going to talk about? Well, if you're absorbing nutrients better, guess what? Your brain works better. And if you breathe better, and you breathe properly, and you get oxygen in your system, everything runs better. You think differently. It's an attitude change. And that's when we start to talk about changing the world. Not just talking about making people prettier by making them more symmetrical, right? I'm starting to talking about how they think and how they act, because how you think means how you act. And how you act is how you change the world. Right? That's where it all comes from. If you start changing this, if you start changing the internal environment, the external environment will change.